I now take this opportunity to call upon our inspirational leader and guide, Dr. Ghosh, to address this audience and enlighten us with your words of wisdom.
Morning, parents. Good morning, happy Independence Day, children and beautiful teachers and supporting staff members. I thank you very much, my dearest friend Arvind sir, Roxana ma'am, and I cannot but be absolutely humbled to see the intense sincerity with which enormously coordinated, orchestrated this entire show. I can well imagine how much it has gone in. Now we have a complex issue today in India. India is rising. Every moment that we were watching, I'm certain most of your eyes were moist. Mine was, again and again. I had to use my handkerchief. And that's your sense of pride into the country. Sense of pride for who we are. I want you to reflect upon a little bit about who are we really? Now if you look carefully, India is Bharat. Is this a land? Are we some human beings? Who are we? If you had to quote some of our great Vedanta, the messages of the Upanishads, the messages of the great masters, our spiritual leaders, India is Punya Bhumi. And our choreographers have presented it so well, well led by co-team, Shardaman, coordinators, and the entire lots of teachers for the music and the art and the dance and the drama. The thought process which has gone in has put in that India is the place where the purest of the purest souls have always emerged. It's not that the other countries don't have. Every country has. Every race has. Every religion has. What is religion? Religion comes from the word religious. It's a way of life. Somebody does like this, somebody like that, somebody like this. Whether I call it tanni or you in French or water or jal or pani, it's all water. India is that. Sanatan Dharma. Acceptance of all. Yes, there is a warfare. Being the material and the non-material. Try and reflect upon it. Start doing a little research. Children, guides, mentors, facilitators, and dear parents and the teachers, you're the one who are to show it to them and show it to them through us being an example. Light that fire. Kindle that fire with your appreciation and the motivation that you have the power to turn into a Bharatiya. Who is Bharatiya? It's not that an American cannot be a Bharatiya, or it is not a Chinese or a Japanese, or it's a clanism. Now, India accepts humanity. Humanity is Bharat. Bha is Brahma Jyoti, and Rata is those who are immersed into it. Listen, where is this Brahma Jyoti today? Unfortunately, with the invasion of the British Raj, Lord McCall came in and transformed the entire state of the education. Thank you, Arvind sir, with the beautiful thought you put in. Yes, we have to carry on the fight in the material world, in the non-material world. Swami Vivekananda says, education for character, education to show it to our kids who they really are, who we really are. We are not animals, we are not dogs. Often, many of you kids, when you come to me, if you had a little tussle or a fight or a disagreement, Shadu ma'am and I and our coordinators and teachers ask you, are you a dog They said, no. Are you a donkey? He said, no. Then why are you biting and fighting and kicking each other? That's called the finite world. Unfortunately, that is the influence of the Western world today. West is also changing phenomenally. And this is why the great masters from East have gone in again and again to the West. They didn't want anything. They just wanted to tell them. Remember 1893, 11th of September, Swami Vivekananda's speech to the American world. Do not be frogs in the well. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. What is goal? Finding out the supreme divinity which is within. Express the divinity. The moment you do that, you are that. I am that. And suddenly, all the borders and all the discriminations between the language barriers to culture to religion starts to fall off. And that's where comes in international baccalaureate, a way to learn, and the Vedanta. Vedanta is not a religion. Vedanta is science of knowing who we are. Who are we? That truth is within. Beautifully put by you kids, tremendously. The victorious champion children. Keep planting the seed as parent. The seed of inspiration, motivation. You're not finite. You're not a limited, a little boy or a girl. The man is the man of tomorrow. The child of today is the father of that man. That is yours and my journey. You as the child, you have to ask yourself, am I this or am I that? Independence Day is the freedom from oppression, is the general message for us. Beautifully depicted. The great sacrifices which were done, they are required. Because if you do not sacrifice, you do not gain anything. If you want to be a great sitar player, a soccer player, a cricket player, or if you want to go to academician or a scientist, you have to sacrifice your so-called luxury, wasting of time, sleeping away to glory, and you have to focus your mind and concentrate. Develop that concentration power, the willpower. I can do it. So stop being the frog in the world to the frog in the ocean. That awake and arise. We cannot afford to be jackals and foxes. We are the tigers and the lions. We can't make our kids pet dogs. Who are pet dogs? Please don't mind. We are. Yes, boss type. We're asking our children, create yourself. Challenge, whether it's Newton theory or Shakespeare. Write it in your own. Research. After that, if you happen to agree, go ahead, accept. So can we give this choice to our children? You choose what you want to be. We give you freedom. We give you an ambience where being gifted. Dr. Neil Harvey from the Institution of the Achievement of Human Potential in PA, Mother 1-800, United States, is saying being gifted is primarily a product of the environment. And by that definition, intelligence of the highest order can easily be reached by nearly every child. Intelligence is not just being academician. You could be anything. But being guided towards that. Let's reflect upon it. West is wanting what? More, and more. More property, more sensual pleasures, more fun, more house. and more money in the bank account. Would it be very important, ma'am, sir, how much money you have 15 years from today in your bank or 24 years from today? How many cars do you own? How many houses do you have in Switzerland and in India and America? Or would it be important that everybody tells you, you are her mother, you are his father? A child would live better if you and I sacrifice today. Focus our mind, concentrate, invest with your time towards the struggle for India's growth. India is shooting up. No one can stop it. It is already predicted. Look at it. Go and study India's economy 2017 by Wikipedia. Predicted by 2020, close behind China, India and China is going to go past American economy. I believe in that. Bill Gates in Shift Happening 2017 is there in the YouTube. Go ahead and watch it. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation with the research scientists at Clockfish is telling the world what's going to be the world in 2028. They're also asking the world people, is your child ready to face that world? You and I have to prepare this through a concept called schools and colleges and homes. Home is the best place. Mother is the best teacher. Have you noticed India is Bharat Mata? Why not Bharat Pita? I can see mothers are smiling. Wow. Yes, ma'am. It is you who can take the tiny seed and make it into a great giant of a man, or make a weakling. So if your child is doing brilliantly well today, it is you who have stood against all oppressions and stuck to it. My son is not this. My daughter is not this. She's something much bigger and better. Tell them that. And if you do, how can it be that they would not? Bharat Mata, notice, the Bharat flag, lift that color. White is purity, is truth. Ashok Stamba behind me. Satyameva Jayate, Mandakya Upanishad. Telling what? Truth shall always win. So I'm taking on what Arvind sir left behind. Thank you, sir. That if you know what is the truth, and if you persevere, how can it not win? There's a beautiful, famous saying, ancient rishis had said, that if you keep looking at the sun, even the mightiest of the mighty, the autocratic monocrat, the single ruler, would fall behind you. Notice the analogy. If you keep looking at the sun will fall ultimately behind you, will follow you. Give this message to the children. Stick to the truth. Hold on to that color. Purity. Purity is a life of purity. Notice, all religion is talking about it. Look at the color orange. Sacrifice. First think about what can I do for you, not what can I get for myself. Notice how the corruption is coming. Wrong education system. And the British Raj wanted it to happen. Hats off to their smart strategy. Two things, just two small things they did in the education system. Number one, told the entire country, your culture, your education is not good enough. Follow the British system. And unfortunately, then, well-meaningly, must be possibly, our then Prime Minister, 1947, Britishers were leaving. Nehru himself is an ex-Cambridge. And at that time, that education was required. Why? Because the British Raj, all they did is a stacks of papers and documentation and remembering them and putting the set record. And Queen wanted that sun should never set in my domain. So they went ahead with that system of education, mugging up, remembering, writing. And Lord Macaulay came, 1833. 15 months, Queen Victoria sent him, go to India, study and tell me how to rule that country. Remember a little bit of history, 16th century Britishers invaded India. 1650 made East India Company. And then they were robbing us. So did Alexander the Great, 326 BC. Came the Mughal brigade. Some of them stayed on, some of them went away, like Tamerlane, Genghis Khan, etc. But Babur, Akbar, Humayun, all of them stayed on and ruled us, dominated us. Infiltration of various ideas and religions and concepts came in. India accepted everyone. Punya Bhumi. But came the Portuguese, the Zoroastrians, the French, and then the British. Queen Victoria, 1833, asked Lord Macaulay, study India, come back and tell me how to rule that country. He stayed for 15 months. Went back and told Queen in 1835, 2nd of February, you know what? Study, it's there. I put it up in our website. It's there. A little bit of work which I have been digging. Why are Indians going down? Arise and awake. A tremendous potential in us. You know what Bill Gates is saying? Shift happening 2017. I think it is the 6th slide in that. If you click on the banner, it says the average youth ruling the world economy will be an Indian 34-year-old men and women. And it goes on to tell you little later that close behind China, India will go past American economy 2020. 2028, as per lectures from Colombo to Almora by Vivekananda, says India will go past China and will never slide back again. Do a little research. Who are these Indians who's going to do it? It's our children. You and I have got tremendous work to do, is to plant the seed and tell them, Aham Brahmasmi. You are the Brahma. That's Vedanta. Infinite potential is within you. Marry it with the Western theory. Western theory is not only just more. There are very powerful Western philosophy and theophiles are there. Look at Heisinger, Einstein. What did they discover? Quantum theory. What does it say? If you break down anything, 1,000 rupee note, $1,000 note, a Mercedes, BMW, a house, a car, a man's body, a woman's body, a plant, an animal, you come to molecules. Subsequently, cells, atoms, subatomic particle, electron, proton, neutron. Subatomic particle, meson, boson, electric. After that, quantum theory says information and energy. What is that? Matter, when you break it down, comes to information and energy is the quantum theory. Matter occupies space, definition of matter. Information and energy doesn't occupy space. Information in a computer, it does, but not in yours and my consciousness. Unfortunately, the human consciousness, yours and mine, highly influenced by the human mind, highly influenced by cool American, Britishers, Westerners, and so-called the materialistic life of Indians. That's not India. India is that orange sacrifice. Live for other people. Service. Community and service. 150 hours Shraddha Ma'am's team is spending on our kids. How do you go and look after other people? And the green is the growth. India will grow. Remember the famous songs and the poems written down by Tagore, and Bankim Chandra, Abdul Kalam. They had the truth, they had the discoveries. What did Paramahansa Yogananda say? He says if you break down anything, it comes to electron, proton, neutron to subatomic particle is given in Bhagavad Gita. By explanation of phase, Krishna's theory. He says after that comes life-tron. What is life-tron? Is the life which is coming from like electron, proton, life-tron. What is it? Is the prana shakti, is your breath. Have you noticed? Your emotions are indicated by your breath. If you get angry, you're breathing hard. If you're peaceful and calm, you're so calm and peaceful. You're hardly breathing. So when you know how to control that breath is the life-tron and goes into ultimate called thought-tron. Paramahansa Yogananda's words in Bhagavad Gita. What you think today is thought. You're going to be that tomorrow. Western world is saying what? If you want to know what you're going to be 6 years from today, what's your thinking? And this is what we are doing. West, International Baccalaureate, the best of their technology, their concept of student's profile, couple it with the ancient Vedanta, which is never old. It is spirituality. It is not religion. It is meant for everyone to know, what can I do? We tell the kids, you can handle anything. And I'm delighted to see any field. Did you notice your kids, what did they do today? I was just sharing with Arvind sir. Not one child was reading out from something. Everybody speaking extempore. Honestly, I may be clouded, but you are not. I didn't see them making one mistake. They are your kids. You and I did lots of mistakes in our life. I remember when I was a flight lieutenant, Arvind says, remembering his old days, I went for the junior commander's course. And I must have been about 21 to 22 years or maybe 24, I don't recollect. We had to speak extempore by picking up a chit. I'm talking about the power of their speech. They're how old? 10, 11, 12, 13 years old today? I picked up the chit which was called Jaguar aircraft is a deep penetration strike aircraft. Speak on that for 5 minutes. And you know what? I was itching to fly a Jaguar plane. They were about to, at that time, being inducted into India. And we were all dreaming of flying. Like Arvind sir was dreaming of flying Boeing 747. I was dreaming of flying Jaguars. So when the chit came up and I said, wow, it's my favorite topic. You know, I went to the stage rostrum. I had a 5 minutes collection of recollecting my thought process. I went to the rostrum. I started to speak. And suddenly by looking at the people, my throat choked up. I couldn't speak a word. And all I did, I said, Jaguar aircraft is a deep penetration strike aircraft, and I walked up from there. And I felt like a monkey. I said, look at this. Is this education? What happened to me? I have been doing a little bit of studying right from childhood. I said, this is not me. And I started working at it, that I am going to be a good speaker. Today, we are in the journey towards becoming good speakers. Your kids are already doing it. And that's all, when I listen to them, the concept, the philosophy, the choreographing, the combination of everyone, they go ahead with that. Now, infinite comes and gives birth to finite. That money, 1,000 rupee, $1,000, the bank, the car, the body, came from infinite, called thought-tron. What do you think? Energy, laws of thermodynamics, is abundant, affluent, no shortage. You cannot destroy it, you cannot create it. See, it's always there. All you have to do, use that energy, call your consciousness. You might say, what is this consciousness? Very simple. Go with the thought, little bit of thinking, reflect, read on it. This consciousness is what makes you and I tick today. When you go off to sleep, supposing you go on to deep sleep, even a mother who's got a tiny baby next to her, who's always, her one hand is patting, even she goes on to deep sleep, forgets her body, forgets the baby, she's totally senseless. What is on? The consciousness is awakened. Mind is gone to sleep. Breath has become very calm. Body is totally switched off. Now you go on to a dream state. Mind is awake. Mind is dreaming. Let's say you are dreaming now, a tiger is chasing you. And you wake up and you say, oh my God, thank God it was a dream. Just think, can you go back to the dream again and start dreaming again from where you left off, tiger chasing you? You can't do that. And then is the waking state. Unfortunately, you and I today, too much into this wakeful state. The ancient, the great Bharat has given birth to the great masters and the rishis who have been depicted by our children. They tapped onto that rich resource within. Then everything is possible. 7 principles of becoming great parents, great teachers, and great human beings. Number 1, as per Upanishad, everything is possible. Number 2, if you want something in your life, this is the translation of the Sanskrit to English. If you want something in your life, laws number 2, give it first. That's called sacrifice. So if you want love, have you noticed you have to give love first? But what do you and I say? First you love me, then I will love you. We say the other thing. Notice, Jnanam Danena Vardate. If you want your knowledge to be increased, you give knowledge. This is ancient Bharat, India. What about money? That's what we are racing for now. Very simple. Give money first. When you give it, you will automatically get. How? You don't have to worry. A supreme consciousness, His divinity, is dwelling in you and me. Kingdom of heaven is within you, is Jesus Christ is saying. Same thing is the Allah and the God is talking about. Is Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna. And same thing is an international baccalaureate talking about today's Western world. You and I have to say, give it to our kids. You can handle it. So what if you can't do it right now? Come on, let's start doing it. Don't push them. Don't eat up their head. What happened to you and me? British Raj's second trick they played. If you made one mistake, they asked us to write it 100 times. Remember spelling mistakes? We all did it. If your handwriting was not good enough, we were told, if you want to be a good girl, good boy, write 10 pages every day. We did it. What happened to us? Look at the whole country today. You know, many adults, all of us were children, we went to school, we learned to write. How many do we know today who loves to write? What happened to us? India doesn't like to write. But look at your kids today. I'm proud to see one of our alumni wrote back to me just a few days ago. Thank you very much for, sir, the training from Victoria's kids today. I wish to inform you that I have attained a perfect 100 out of 100, one of the world topper in DP12 examination in the globe. He has topped the world examination. Who are they? The Victoria's kids. It's your kid. All we did. And it's not only academics. You look at the music, look at the art, look at in every field. So what? A child can do anything. That's what our basic philosophy. So take on that world and give them that gentle push.
Give them an ambience, encourage them. Do not let your and my smallness of the mind, by looking at why you're doing this, why you're doing that. Let it soar. Let it go higher and higher. The only process that will give you and me, to our grandchildren and children, peace, happiness, and very important word called affluence, no shortage for anything, is meditative connection with who really we are. And notice, when you go on to the deep sleep, you're peaceful and happy. But the ancient, great Punya Bhumi, India's rishis, they did it with their eyes closed, but awakened status, in the deep meditative state. This is what you and I need to start follows. Invest a little time every day. Doing very skills, all the skills. Playing cricket, Swami Vivekananda said, a Swami, a monk, I want my Indian youths, boys and girls, to learn to play cricket and gymnastic and football and soccer. Why? A monk should say that. Monk should say, close your eyes, stop eating food, go to the mountains. He didn't say that. This is who India is. They all saw through. We call them seers. You know what? You are successful. And that's how you're creating this India. Today Narendra Modi sir has given a powerful speech. You'll be very happy to know, day before yesterday morning at about 8:30, I received the message from the Prime Minister's Secretariat. Do you have any message to give it to Prime Minister? He might include your points for his speech. I immediately took Arvind Burr and some of my colleagues, give me some ideas. I also put down and I sent it off to him. We'll have to go through it, how much of those have been come in. But we talked about primarily many things. Nationalism, starting from purity, starting from education, education, education. And this education is not just mugging up, it's to discover what they can. And what they can, anything. When I have sessions with your champions, I ask them, why do you come to school? They said, to learn. I said, okay, why do you want to learn? So to know more. I said, okay, why do you want to know more? So we can go to then higher studies, college, university. I said, very good. Why? So we'll get degree, no? I said, okay, what will you do with the degree? So we can become businessman, doctor, engineer, professor, teacher, computer, businessman. I said, okay, what will you do with that? So we can get a job, no? I said, okay. Why job? So to earn money, of course. I said, okay, that means you're joining the school to earn money? I said, okay, how much money? They say more than mommy and daddy. This is more or less everyone. Sir, ma'am, who is giving it to their children in their head? Life, learning is for earning money. Learning is to become a good human being. If we can imbibe into that once you're a good human being, once so-called the epics, the mythological figure Saraswati is with you, Lakshmi will run after you. How can it stop? It will take them across. You know what? One of the points I sent to Narendra Modi, everybody is studying to get a better job. I said, could we teach our children to be better entrepreneurs, better small-scale, big-scale industry owners, better I can handle it by being a manager, team leader, and being, if required, be alone. But I'm not alone because God is with me, Allah is with me, Christ is with me. And you will see all these barriers will break away as per the predictions given that India is going to rule this entire universe as a one global village, one religion, and that's humanity. And that's what you and I need to look at. I wish you all very happy Independence Day. I'm so delighted I was touched with your children. Thank you very much. I love you all. Thank you.